Last Friday, the long-awaited Resident Evil 5 finally hit store shelves, but did it live up to the hype? No, actually. For many. But joining us now is X-Play's Adam Cecil to give us the actual scoop. How are you, sir? How's your inbox been since giving the game? You gave it a 3 out of 5 on X-Play, right?
Yes. You know what?
I imagine you got a lot of all capitals. Thank you so much, Adam, for showing us the light and saving us 60 bucks.
I think we got more hate mail for giving a 5 out of 5 to Killzone 2 than we did to giving a 3 out of 5 to Resident Evil 5.
Isn't that weird?
I mean, there are a lot of people who like the game and disagree with us. There's many other people who saw what I saw in the game.
Well,
and
let's get into it, because I've been playing it, and I was twittering about it and getting backlash like crazy the moment I said meh. But let's talk about why we would take it down from the perfect 5 that it's supposed to be.
Let's say that the control system
sucks. It's okay to say it. Just say it.
I'm not a big fan of it. And I think the bigger case is it's not justified by the game. You know, we're in this era after Gears of War 2 where we have these controls that are very commonplace, and there's nothing in the game that kind of supports that. The game really is an action game, so why don't have action controls?
Is your biggest problem with the controls that is mine and most other people it seems to be, you can't shoot while moving? I mean, is that what this is? Because
it's still a comedy. It's not shooting while moving, but it's moving slowly, not being able to turn and shoot fast enough. It's not so much that it's an impediment to ever getting anything accomplished in the game, but it doesn't make the game satisfying. But then when you compare that to the AI, which is supposed to alleviate the restrictions of the controls, that AI does not support you in any way and really drags the game down.
Right, and many will say, well, this is a co-op game, but you have to bank on that to sell the experience? That doesn't sound right. Like, the AI from your computer-controlled buddy is not very good. Shiva does not react well in any situation.
Left 4 Dead is a co-op game, and it's very easy to play it in single player.
Right.
So, I mean, right there. I mean, I think it's unfair to think that everyone who buys this game is expecting to be playing it for the 12 to 18 hours in co-op. I mean, it's been a single-player series. Expectations of being able to play it by yourself, I think, are legitimate expectations.
And again, I just want to remind our viewers at home, you have to stop if you want to shoot. Thank you.
Now, maybe at GDC there's going to be a new middleware that actually will solve that problem.
Right, some patch that lets you
I'm
sure they'll announce it. All right, what are the pros, though? Because there is some stuff to love here. I, for one, think it's super satisfying when you actually do get a shot off. I love the way enemies react. It's the physics involved. It's super satisfying for that portion.
The hints of Resident Evil 4 that are still there in Resident Evil 5 are still very satisfying. The earlier environments are very strong. They do feel a little bit fresh, even though I don't think they're as expansive as they were in Resident Evil 4, though I don't want to hit on a negative again, but while it's exciting and interesting in the beginning for those that are halfway through the game, it gets very rudimentary in its level design at the end. It really feels kind of phoned in, and they just kind of gave up the ghost on it.
Yeah, we're now back to the cons. Let's stay on the cons here, because talk about being linear here. I mean, this thing is straight. I mean,
it's funny. A lot of people say, "Oh my God, it's so linear." I'm like, well, the backtracking I had to do in earlier Resident Evils, I was like, "Oh, really? I have to go? Where was that red ruby place I was supposed to put that in?"
But you talked about these gorgeous environments when you first start off the game, and I love the environment that you're placed in. But it feels like that all-you-can-eat buffet. There's just rows and rows of food in front of you, and then they say you can only have the mashed potatoes or the bread. That's all we're going to give you. Like, you're stuck on this one very linear path.
No, that's an excellent analogy. But I think that's where the controls come in. That, like, I would love to have the freedom to do something that's exciting. And here it's like, well, let's see, how can I work around these controls? How can I work around this AI?
All right, so does co-op make the game for you, though?
It does. The co-op is great. Now, more importantly, split-screen co-op works.
Right.
Because they don't apportion the screen as 50-50, where you're always trying to feel like you want to see something over here. But it's diagonal. It's you can see it in the correct ratio, and sometimes it's even more fun to play with someone on the couch, because this really is a very cooperative experience, and it's easier than over a headset.
All right, but you said 3 out of 5, and the responses you're getting right now are...
It's been mixed. A lot of people are coming after me. I don't know who I'm in the pocket of today, since this isn't a console maker.
Right.
I think maybe they're blaming that maybe I love Square too much or something like that.
Yeah, well, it is Monday, so yes. It's Square today.
On the whole, I could have thought it would be worse than it was.
Okay.
I'll say that.
That's a glowing review. Before we wrap up here, you're going to be at the old GDC, right?
Yes,
Game Developers Conference?
Yes, I am going to be at GDC. We've got 3 days of coverage, straight from the magic place where, everyone gets together and they confer about making the games.
Oh, okay. So what else are we going to see from there? Are we expecting any big announcements from any companies?
Yes, we're going to see, Iwata and Kojima are giving keynotes. We're going to have all the news that comes out of that and anything else at the conference. And we're going to have a lot of interviews with all the big names that always can be found at the Game Developers Conference.
And hopefully that patch for RE5 that lets you move and shoot at the same time, Japan.
It's called Dead Space.
I mean, come on. Even call up 50 Cent. He figured it out.
Yeah.
How Tony Yayo can move and shoot.
What's funny is that in his previous game, he could move but couldn't shoot.
Yeah.
It's amazing that he learned the shooting in the second one.
Adam, thank you so much.
Hey, my pleasure.
Seriously. Between stopping the shoot and pixelating the tentacles, Japan, learn how to have fun.